crystals. Welcome back to my second part of bladder control. In this part, we will talk about diagnosis and management of bladder control. So, without wasting so much time, let's get started. Diagnosis of the bladder. There is a physical exam and tests are included to diagnose the neurogenic bladder, reflex, or a reflex bladder. Several tests of the nervous system and the bladder is to diagnose neurogenic bladder. Now, the urodynamic studies. This bladder dysfunction test measure धीरे धीरे से the pressure within the bladder, how well urine flows, and how well the bladder empties when it is full. Special sensors may be placed on the skin near the urethra or the rectum to see if the muscles and nerves in those parts of the body are working properly or not. You can see in this picture there are special sensors which are placed near the urethra or rectum. They helpful to measure the total bladder pressure, intrinsic bladder pressure, the rectal pressure, which are important to diagnose which type of movements or how much pressure inside our bladder, so we can diagnose the condition as you see in this picture. Now the cystoscopy. This procedure to examine the inside of the bladder and the urethra with the use of the small telescope, which is known as the cystoscope, and some other diagnostic tests which are the X-rays, CT scans, and the MRI are also helpful to diagnose the neurogenic bladder. There is a diagram of the cystoscopy in which there is a cystoscope which is placed inside our urethra. As you see in the second diagram, we can see in on this the computer via the cystoscope placed inside our bladder. Now the medical history. Your healthcare provider will ask you a number of questions to understand your medical history. This should include information about the symptoms you are having, how long you have had them, and how they are changing your life. A medical history will also include information about your past and the current health problems. You should have a list of over the counter and prescription drugs you have usually take. Your healthcare provider should also ask you about your diet and how much and what kind of liquids you drink during the day. So it is helpful to diagnose the conditions for the healthcare provider. We can also make a bladder diary. The healthcare provider asks to keep a bladder diary where you will note how often you go to the bathroom and any time you leak urine. This will help your healthcare provider to learn more about your day-to-day symptoms. In this picture, you can see how can we make our daily bladder diary. Now the pad test, this is really simple test. During this test you will wear a pad that had been treated with a special dye. The pad changes color when you leak urine. The laboratory test, when assessing the neurogenic bladder, a panel of lab tests including urine analysis, urine culture, serum blood urea nitrogen, and the creatinine clearance are ordered. In addition, there is a renal clearance test, 24-hour urine creatinine clearance, and isotope studies are used to assess kidney functions in patients with the neurogenic bladder. On urodynamic evaluation can determine urinary system function. Tests included in such evaluations are urinary flowmetry, bladder cystometrogram, electromyogram, Valsalva leak point pressure, urethral pressure profile. I will show you a diagram of the flowmetry, which measures the urine flow, and other is the Valsalva leak point pressure, which measures the lowest abdominal pressure required during a stress activity, such as in the coughing, that would cause the urethra to open and therefore leak. In the other words, it measures the bladder neck and the proximal urethra in response to abdominal pressure. It is mainly used to evaluate stress incontinence. Now next is our management. So how we manage these conditions? So first is clean intermittent catheterization. Catheters are thin flexible tubes that can be inserted through the urethra and into the bladder to drain urine. Such drugs are also helpful in this condition, which are oxybutynin, tolretodine, and the others, which are the anticholinergic medications. And the injections of the botulinum atoxins are also injects in the bladder and the urinary sphincters. You can see in this picture there is a catheters for the female and the catheters for the male, and their insertion in the bladder so we can drain the urine. The next is bladder augmentation cystoplasty. So what is this type of surgery, or what is this type of management? This is a surgery in which segments of the intestine, which are the sigmoid colon, are removed and attached to the walls of the bladder. This reduces the bladder's internal pressure and increases its ability to store urine. Next is ileal conduct. It is a part of small bowel. It used to make a urine stoma. This stoma drains to a bag attached to the outside of the body. Means it acts as the artificial bladder. In other words, where a bag is attached outside our body, and to drain the urine in this bag. The lifestyle changes are also affect the conditions. So by changing the some habits in our daily life, we can control the symptoms of the neurogenic bladder. This might include avoiding certain foods or drinks that can irritate the bladder. This includes certain caffeinated drinks like coffee, carbonated beverages, spicy foods, and the citrus fruit. Losing weight can ease stress on the bladder. A behavioral treatment called the delayed voiding may help some people with the urine control. The next is neuromodulation therapy. So, what is this therapy? The first is sacral neuromodulation. This is used for the patients with the overactive bladder when the drugs or lifestyle changes don't help. The sacral nerve carries signals between your spinal cord and the bladder. As we all know, changing these signals can improve overactive bladder symptoms. The surgeon places a thin wire close to the sacral nerve. Then the wire is connected to a small battery operated device placed under your skin. It delivers the harmless electrical impulses to the bladder to stop the bad signals that can cause a overactive bladder. I will show you a picture of this so you can easily understand what is happening. There is a device which is placed which stop the bad signals to the neurogenic bladder, so we can improve the condition of the overactive bladder. The next is percutaneous tibial nerve stimulation. In this type of neuromodulation, a needle is inserted into a nerve in your leg called a tibial nerve. The needle is connected to a device that sends electrical impulses. The impulses travel to the tibial nerve and then to the sacral nerve. This is done in your healthcare provider's office. Most patients receive 12 treatments for the best results. This is a picture of the percutaneous tibial nerve stimulation device. Um by which we can treat the neurogenic bladder. I will share a video link in my description box how the percutaneous tibial nerve stimulation works. So you can watch this by uh, with this device how work. Now the artificial sphincter. This device helps to treat the severe urinary incontinence when the real sphincter muscle isn't working correctly. The real sphincters, which are the internal and external sphincters. Surgery is required to place the sphincter cuff around the urethra while a pump is placed under the skin in the scrotum or the labia. For the main under the scrotum, and for the female below the labia. The pump is used to open the sphincter and allow you to pass the urine. Means this artificial sphincter work as our normal anatomical sphincters, as you see in this picture. Now the incontinence. I put this topic lastly because we had already very well know about the incontinence. In future, if you like this video, then I will make a video on the specific incontinence, so you can get the better knowledge about the incontinence. So in this video, I will give you a brief idea about the incontinence. The incontinence means there is a loss of bladder control. The incontinence is seen in the various neurological conditions, various bladder cancer, prostate cancer, or the in the UTIs, right? So there is a types of incontinence which are the overflow, stress, urge, and the functional. This is a really nice diagram, so you can understand the types of incontinence. The overflow incontinence means when we urinate, the whole urine is not micturate. Some amount of urine is present in our bladder and it is leaks out later, so it is called the overflow. Stress incontinence means when we laughing, coughing, there is some amount of leakage occurs, which is called the stress. And the urge incontinence means where there is a sudden and urge to need to urinate, and some amount of leaking occurs. And the functional incontinence, this is a special type in which we are aware about to urinate, but because of some mental and physical conditions we are not able to go to urinate, so there is a leakage occurs. As you see in this picture, when the weak pelvic floor muscles uh, um, are present, there is a leaking occur, and when our pelvic floor muscles are strong, the urethra is stay closed and the no leakage occurs. Now the pelvic floor muscles location and function, as we all know very well know about it. uh, this is exercise to strengthen our pelvic floor muscles, which is known as the Kegel's exercise, in which pelvic floor muscles and lifting upwards, means in the bridging position, hold the contraction and release the contraction and rest and relax, then they start again. So that's why we strengthen our pelvic floor muscle and control our leaking. These are some other exercise to strengthen our muscles. uh, these are some other exercises. First is bridging, and the second and third, these are the modified exercises, so we strengthen our muscles. These are some yoga asanas. The yoga is trending now, so we can do some yoga asanas to strengthen our abdominals, our pelvic floor muscles, our back muscles. which can help to stop our leaking. Okay, thank you. Stay your bladder. Keep your bladder healthy and strong. So here our final part of bladder control is completed. I hope you get helpful and worthful information regarding this topic. So please keep sharing this video and don't forget to like and subscribe my channel. Thank you all, Agni.